Hello, beautiful souls, and happy Twin Flame Tuesday. Now, I know it's been a hot minute since we last did a Twin Flame Tuesday reading. I think we've missed three or four of them now. I'm ever so sorry about that, you guys. Thank you so much for being patient. I've been doing all sorts of crazy things in my personal life and in my work life in other areas, and I've just not had time to really put out any YouTube content for a little while. So, as I said, thank you so much for being patient with me, you guys. I super appreciate it. But we are back now, and we will continue to do these every Tuesday as normal. So, I mean, the good news is we haven't really missed much, right? There's been a lot of things going on with Leo season. We're now in Leo season. I might be repeating myself a little bit here. I did do readings for the new moon, Leo new moon, and for yes, of course, the 8/8 portal, which happened the same day. So do go and check out those readings if you don't know what I'm talking about. I don't think we did twin flame readings during that time. So we basically had just a little recap. We had a triple whammy of Leo, beautiful, confident, sunny Leo energy, with the new moon in Leo, the 8/8 Lionsgate portal on the same day, and of course we are now in Leo season, so we had a triple whammy of it. So obviously that did have an impact on the Twin Flame Collective, obviously, and I feel that in a way the focus was not on the Twin Flame Collective at all, which is why I say that we haven't really missed much. I mean, obviously today we're going to do our recap. So there's 3 or 4 weeks worth to recap. But I don't think any of the information is going to be really that surprising to us. We could see that the energies were, as they always do, they build gradually towards something, they wane off gradually from something and build up gradually towards something else. It's a very steady flow, peaks and troughs. If you were looking at a graph, it would just be it would just be this gradual sweeping line, going up and down. So let's just crack on, shall we? For those of you who are new, the way that we do these readings is we look at the heart space, then the mental space, and then the physical space. This is the natural order of energy. Heart is feelings. Everything starts with a feeling. A feeling then becomes a thought, hence mental space, and then physical space is action. Thought becomes action. Feeling becomes thought. Thought becomes action. Yes, it always happens in this order. So this is why we read them this way. And it's entirely up to you how you want to interpret this reading. The divine masculine and divine feminine energy is within us all, in equal amounts. We might amplify one or the other depending on how we're feeling that day, but I'm not talking about sex or gender, I'm talking about energy. So it's up to you if you want to look at this as being the divine masculine and divine feminine energies within yourself, or the divine masculine divine feminine energies outside of yourself, which is just a reflection. So you might identify as being the divine feminine in this relationship, and you are watching this reading because you want to see what your divine masculine is getting up to, and you want to see if union is possible on the horizon. I know that there's a lot of you who are watching these readings because of that, but it is a that right there, that dynamic is a reflection of what's going on within you and within your twin, right? Your twin is a reflection of you. It's all a reflection, it's all a mirror. So it's up to you how you want to view it, as being the energies within yourself or the energies outside of yourself. It's all one and the same thing. So let's start with the Divine Masculine's heart space. So we always start with the Divine Masculine collective, and then followed by I can't speak today. The Divine Feminine collective, because the masculines are leading the feminines after about 2,000-ish years. December of last year, with a great conjunction between Saturn and Jupiter, the Divine Masculine and Feminine collectives did a flip-flop, and now the masculines are leading the feminines. So we always start with the masculines. So we have love, compassion. So, I mean, it's very fitting, isn't it, that we're seeing this going on within his heart space. I do find this a little interesting straight off the bat, because we've been watching, if you haven't been watching, go and have a look at the last two Twin Flame Tuesday readings, and just have a little catch up with yourself as to what the collectives have been up to. This is the first time that we're seeing love and compassion going on in here. Now, we are buried deep in Leo vibes right now. So that doesn't surprise me, to be honest, that we're seeing that this big masculine lion wants a pride, right? He finally, he's been doing a lot of work on himself. He's been spending all of his time and energy on getting himself right. And now within his heart space, he has love for himself. And I feel is perhaps ready to love, to extend that love outside of himself, let's say. Just have a little drink of water. I have this I think I've shown you guys this on stream, but I have this water bottle from the Psychic Tree. It's really cool. I know that's not what we're here for right now, but it has these obsidian flakes in the bottom, so it infuses the water with this beautiful grounding energy. I love this water bottle, so I've had it for I think a year or so, but I just thought I would show you guys, because I'm normally drinking tea, right, during these readings, but today I'm drinking water. I'm drinking obsidian flake infused mizu. So I just thought I would share that with you. But do go check out the Psychic Tree. They do loads of really cool stuff. And they have these water bottles. They're like exclusive to Psychic Tree, and they have loads of different minerals and stones and healing crystals and things that you can put in the bottom, which is really cool. And it has just quick, right? It has this cap here, so you can change them, right? So I can just go and buy some I don't know, rose quartz or something. I can change them. I love this bottle so much. Anyway, little interlude there. I just thought I would share that with you. Okay, so let's see what else is going on then for the masculine, for the Divine Masculine. Divine Masculine's heart space. Okay, we have deep dive. All right, so yeah, he's I feel like his heart space is like it's deepening. I know that sounds daft. I feel like it's deepening in terms of love. He's been learning to love himself all of this time, and now I feel like he really is searching deep within himself to in a quest to extend that love to another person. So on an individual basis, this could look differently for different people. Excuse me, sorry, I really glugged that water. This could be that, do you know what, I'm not even going to speculate, because literally we'll be here all day, because everyone's individual situation is going to be exactly that. It's going to be individual to them. But I do feel that the divine masculine energy on the whole is deepening in a loving way. So if we're looking at this as being outside of yourself, that's going to be easier to explain, I feel. First, if we're looking at this as being the divine masculine, you know, as a person, as an outside entity, he has been focusing on loving himself, and he hasn't been in a relationship, and if he has, he's just been emotionally unavailable because he's been working on himself, which is what he's needed to do. He's been loving himself through activities such as purging and getting rid of people and stuff and things that don't serve him anymore. He's changed his job. He's changed who he hangs out with. He's literally thrown items out of his house that he just doesn't use anymore. And he's been really thinking about what he wants for himself, because he's recognized that the way that he's been doing things hasn't been working. Now, if we're, therefore, let's just stay on this for a moment. Therefore, he's done all of that, right? He's done that, and he's learned to love himself. Now he loves himself. He loves himself, he respects himself, he has boundaries that are very healthy, which he has no problem upholding. And now he's open, his heart certainly is open to extending that love to somebody else. So he's open to having a romantic partner. He's open to his twin flame romantically, where he really wasn't before. Over the last handful of months, if he met someone that he could have been romantically involved, he's just not interested at all. And maybe that person pursued him, he would have immediately just said to them, hey, look, I'm not down for that. Like, we can be friends, that's cool, but I'm not up for, like, I'm just working on me right now, I'm doing me, so I'm not interested in a relationship. And if that person got a little bit like needy about it, he had no trouble just saying like, fuck off. And just really upholding those boundaries, because he knew that he needed to do what he needed to do, and that was it. That didn't involve anybody else other than himself, me, myself, and I, you know. Now he's open to it, but I feel that the boundaries that he has honed and learned to uphold, they are still very much in place. So if someone approaches him with that needy kind of energy, he will still tell them to fuck off. Whereas if somebody approaches him with a similar energy, where they're open to romance, but they're not dependent on it, they don't need it, he will definitely be susceptible to that energy right now. He needs to be approached in the right way, because I feel that he's still not bothered, you know. He's still working on himself, but now he's just open to this, but it needs to be with the right partner. We'll see how this energy unfolds week on week, right? And even just throughout this reading today, there might be more information there, but we'll see. Now, if we're going to look at this as being, this is happening in the divine masculine energy within yourself. The divine masculine energy is the ruler of doing, right? It's doing things. It's having boundaries and withholding them or upholding them. It's that very logical, matter of fact, getting stuff done. This is the game plan. This is what's on the drawing board. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it, and then actually getting it done. The divine feminine energy is the more feeling side of things. Her responsibility is to have these beautiful creative ideas and to dream and to, give birth to these ideas, to give birth to things, right? It's the masculine that actually realizes these things within the physical reality. So he's the very matter-of-fact, down-to-earth one, and the feminine is the airy-fairy, up in the clouds, fiery energy one, right? So you can see how these two energies work marvelously together. They need each other, right? This is why it's so important to balance the masculine and feminine energies within yourself. Because if you're out of balance, then you're not going to be particularly useful to anybody, including yourself. So where we're seeing this open to loving other people kind of energy within the divine masculine energy, when we're looking at this as being within oneself, the masculine energy has been, as I'm going to try not to repeat myself here, but everything that I've just said that the divine masculine has been doing, he's been doing that within himself, but he's also been doing that within you, right? Because it's a mirror, yes? So where one is doing it, the other is doing it. So divine masculine energy on the whole has been doing everything that I've just described, both within you and without you, right? Outside of you and inside of you. So where it's been happening inside of you, you've been a little bit sharp and pointy, haven't you? Just lately. You've been making lots of lists and plans and figuring out how you're going to do things. There's been no wiggle room. When you've made up your mind about something and you're like, no, I'm going to get this done. If your friend has said to you, yeah, but if you've been like, yes, I have considered that, or no, I haven't considered that, but whatever, it doesn't fucking matter because this is what I've decided to do and this is what I am going to do, and you can fuck off with your opinions because I didn't ask you for them, right? Have you noticed that? That's what your attitude has been. If someone has said to you, oh, hey, I'm just going to walk all over you and completely violate all of your boundaries, what's your reaction been to that? Your divine masculine has stepped up and gone, I don't fucking think so. You can fuck right off, mate. I'm going to punch you square in the face, right? There's been no wiggle room whatsoever. You've been so rooted in your masculine. You've been so steadfast. Now, we're seeing this love and compassion seeping in to the divine masculine energy. He's softened a little bit. Where someone might say, hey, I'm going to walk all over you and violate all of your boundaries, and beforehand the divine masculine in you was like, I don't fucking think so, mate. I'm going to square punch you in the face. Now the masculine is saying, a bit like a bouncer, right? A bit like a bouncer on a nightclub doorstep. Now he just puts a hand out and goes, no, not tonight, mate. No, your name's not Danny, you're not coming in. Your name's not on the list, mate. Right? Go on, go jog on to some other bar, mate. All right? Not tonight. Whereas beforehand, that was a brawl, right? That wasn't a good bouncer. That wasn't good security. That was security gone rogue. Like, no, you're not fucking coming in, mate. I told you. And there's blood spilt on the streets, right? Now it's not this way. Now we're seeing that the divine masculine energy, it's softening a little. He's becoming more, there's more of a gentle approach to things, I feel. So let's move on. I think that's all that that needs to be said, really, for the divine masculine heart space. So let's have a look at the feminine, divine feminine heart space. What's going on with her? We've been watching her rocky journey since January, really. She's been toing and froing, and the last reading I think we did, beautiful. The last reading we saw, she was finally understanding that she needs to focus on herself. She needs to follow the masculine. The feminine collective is so used, the feminine collective has spent literally 2,000 years being in charge and leading the masculine collective. That was a real tough habit to break, because the feminines have spent, think right, a human lifetime is not 2,000 years, right? So your great grandma, let's say, and beyond, right? I'm going to say great grandma because, like, my grandparents have all passed. My grandparents passed before the Great Conjunction. But if you have grandparents that are still alive, then we can't count them, right? I mean, I suppose we can, because old people are extremely set in their ways, especially when I say old people, I mean like 90, right? Old, right? They are extremely set in their ways because they spent their entire life doing one thing a certain way, right? But if your grandparents have passed, then we can include them as well. If your grandparents passed before December of last year, we can include them. So anyone who was alive and died before the Great Conjunction, so December 21st of last year, and 2,000 years like beyond that, those people spent their entire lifetime being in the divine feminine collective leads the divine masculine collective. Now, you and I, our lives are extremely unique because we have witnessed the crossover. We were born into the divine feminine collective is leading the divine masculine collective, but as of December 21st, 2020, those collectives switched. And now the masculines are leading the feminines. So our generation, those of you who are watching this reading right now, unless you were born, December 22nd, 2020, in which case, how the fuck are you using the internet? Okay, go and get your parents. You shouldn't be watching this. This is not for babies. You were so ingrained into you because it has been for the, it's in your blood for the feminines to be leading the masculines, right? And that goes for you divine masculines who have divine feminine energy within you, because you have both within you. Your masculine has been leading your feminine, right, this entire time. Now we're in the switcheroo. It's hard, right? I'm not going to lie to you. As a woman myself who identifies as divine feminine incarnate, yes, I have divine masculine within me. Of course I do, just like everybody else does. But I've personally experienced the influx of these energies. My heart has been leading me all this time, and I'm sure all of you can relate to that. I followed my heart in everything. There was no logical thought in anything. I made all of my decisions based on who I loved in that time. And I found it very difficult to love myself, because you need divine masculine energy to show the feminine how to love oneself. the feminine energy knows how to love, but she just spills it all out. It just pours out of her, and she loves everybody that comes by and tells her that her hair is pretty. I mean, generally speaking, right? This is how a divine feminine collective was leading, right? She was just showing everyone how to love. Now the divine masculines are stepping up to show us how to do things, how to take action on the things that we desire, how to lay out a game plan that's actually going to work. So I'm not saying, the feminine's got a lot done during her reign, but now it's the masculine's time to reign supreme for the next 2,000 years. So we've been watching, every Twin Flame Tuesday, we've been watching the divine feminines just sort of tripping over herself, trying to figure out how the fuck to follow when she's so used to leading, right? And that's why I say that our great grandparents, our great grandmas, and our great grandmas and our great grandmas and whatever ancestors over the last 2,000 years, that's, we were raised by, I hope I'm making sense here. Like, you had the first divine feminine wave, had children, and then raised her divine feminines in a leadership role, who had more feminines and led and raised them as mothers and grandmothers and great grandmothers, who were also used to leading, right? So it's so deeply ingrained in you divine feminines and you divine masculines who carry divine feminine energy. It is so deeply ingrained because you were physically raised by divine feminines who are used to being in a leadership role. Yes. And now the divine feminines need to get used to the divine masculine energy leading. That's the divine masculine collective leading her, but also the divine masculine within herself leading. Yes? So we are a very important, very versatile wave of human generation. We are now setting the precedent. Those of you who are watching this reading who do not have children, right, it would be in your best interest to settle into this new dynamic of divine masculine and divine feminine energy before you have children, because you are going to be leading your children in the way that they're going to be leading their children, and they'll be leading their children, right? We're the first wave of masculines leading feminines for the next 2,000 years. No pressure. But it's an important thing to take note of, I think. So, we've been watching the feminines kind of flip-flopping around, trying to lead, but knowing that she shouldn't be leading anymore, not sure how to follow. The masculines, however, have just stepped right up. Like, they were just so ready to step into a leadership role. And I think I did say in a reading recently, on behalf of the Divine Feminine Collective, well done, masculines. Well done, and thank you for it being such a smooth transition, because you guys really led the feminines, or are and are continuing to and are going to lead the feminines very, very well, very valiantly, just like the lion, to be honest. Really seeing that divine masculine energy coming forth. And now that we're in Leo season, it's even more opportunity for the divine masculine to really assert himself in that leadership king role. So, I mean, I'm going to try and move on here, because we've already spent half an hour and we've only got this far into the reading. But I feel that like, I really could just talk about this forever. Tune in to Twitch, right? Come on over to Twitch. The link is in the description below. I'll just talk about this. You guys can ask your questions, you know, and we can discuss this, you know, as a group. So we've been watching the Divine Feminine's trying to like figure out what she's meant to be doing, right? I mean, she knows what she's meant to be doing, but she doesn't know how to do it. She doesn't know how to follow because she hasn't done it for the last 2,000 years. But last reading we did see this start to happen, right? We started to see her surrendering, and now we see full surrender here, absolutely, within the Divine Feminine heart space. We have this beautiful lotus flower unfoldment, and hence we have this new beginning energy going on for the feminine. She's finally figured it out, right? She's finally figured out the surrender and how it's supposed to feel, because the feminine, she deals exclusively with feelings. She has the capacity, obviously, to think logically about things, but, you know, that's divine masculine energy stepping in really to aid her, because that's his role. So divine feminine energy, you know, she feels her way through things. And now she's come to understand what it's supposed to feel like to follow. So she's just using that feeling to go on. You know, keep that feeling around, amplify that feeling, and that keeps her on track. The masculine works more on thought. So he's now come to understand the mindset that he needs to be in to be a leader, and so he amplifies that mindset, and that keeps him in that leadership role. So it, you know, works. It has the same results on both sides, it just happens in a different way. For the masculine it's mindset, and for the feminine it's feeling. So we have this beautiful new beginnings here. This really is a breakthrough for the Divine Feminine collective. She really is understanding now how to follow. So I'm going to just draw one more for the feminine. I know, which I should be doing anyway, because we had two from the same deck. Let's see what else for the feminine. Beautiful. We have mystery. So the feminine doesn't know, let's put this here so we can see it. The feminine doesn't know what to expect, but she enjoys that. The feminine has always been a mysterious creature, right? Masculine certainly. I mean, it's ingrained in human, you know, in our culture, right? That women are this like mysterious enigma that men just can't understand, right? It's in our culture, isn't it? We see that in movies. We see that in just general conversation, like casual conversation between a man and his male friends. You know, God, I can't figure out, like, I can't figure out what she's thinking, right? Isn't that what men are always saying about women? I'm not a mind reader. I don't know what she's thinking. I don't understand why she behaves the way that she does, right? I can't figure her out. The feminine is supposed to be mysterious, right? And the reason that she's mysterious as far as the masculines are concerned is because she's feeling and the masculine is thinking. That's why they're built differently. So the feminine can understand the masculine because she feels him, but she's not thinking. The masculine's thinking. He's seeing things in a very logical, physical way, and the feminines just don't function that way. The feminines are all in the ether. You know, they're connected to source, they're having these beautiful creative ideas, and she's very fiery and emotional. The masculines, equally, they don't function that way. They function in a very earthly way. So this is why the masculines and the feminines struggle to understand each other sometimes, because they function differently. But here's right, I'll let you into a little secret, right, to like the ultimate perfect romantic dynamic duo twosome relationship, right? Here's a little secret I'll let you guys into. If you balance your masculine and feminine energies within yourself, then you will be able to understand your partner. You will, if you are a feminine, you will understand the masculines. If you're a masculine, you will understand the feminine, because you've balanced the energies within yourself. So then you find it easier to translate the language of the opposite sex. Just a little tip for you there. So we have this mystery here. So I would ordinarily sort of apologize almost to the masculines and say, sorry boys, but you're even more thrown into the fray there of not being able to understand your woman. But I'm not going to, because the masculines are very well rounded and are very much balanced within themselves right now, on the whole. So masculines are, able to understand their feminines way more than they've ever been able to. Like their what's it called, like their translative, is that a word, translative dictionary, is padded out way more than it ever has been. The masculines are like, they're not fluent in feminine, but they get by, right? Whereas before they were just sort of standing dumbfounded, like, I don't understand what you're saying to me right now. I don't understand you. Now the masculines, dump them in the middle of feminine land, and they'll be able to get themselves a beer and a room for the night, right? They can get by, right? The feminines, we're seeing this very mysterious energy that's totally normal, right? This is just part of being a divine feminine, but it's very much amplified within the heart space, I feel, right now. So with this new beginning, there's this new rush, this new flood of divine feminine energy. The divine feminines are becoming very feminine, right? I'm feeling this very sort of maybe the divine feminine collective has not been expressing herself in a particularly feminine way just lately. So how to explain this? It's like the divine feminine collective, right? So all the women in the world are just suddenly oozing divine feminine energy, as if she's just had this renewed, like, you know what, I'm going to wear stockings and heels today, when for a while she's been knocking about in flats. Or her body language is becoming more sultry and feminine and kind of seductive, right? I feel like the feminine's just like oozing divine feminine energy in a way that she hasn't in a real long time. I suppose in much the same way the divine masculine's really taken, control of himself. I mean, look at it this way, right? For the last 2,000 years, the divine masculines, so the males in the world, their divine feminine energy has been in charge. No wonder all the men in the world have just so overcompensated, having fights with each other to physically assert themselves, because their divine feminine energy has been the one that's been in charge, which is all feelings. And, men being all macho, as the way that society has been for the last 2,000 years, hasn't it? Men have had to physically assert themselves, and be very dominating physically, because they've been trying to compensate for the feminine energy being in charge. They've tried so fucking hard to keep their women down and at their heel. Obviously we've seen this changing gradually in society, you know, women being able to vote, women being able to stand shoulder to shoulder with a man in the working world, being paid the same. I mean, it's still not quite perfect, but generally speaking, you know, 2,000 years is a long fucking time, right? We're talking from the year zero, right? From the year 21, from the year 0021, right? From 21 AD. It's a long fucking time, right? And we've seen women being suppressed by men, and you know the reason for that is because the feminine energy has been the one in charge, and the masculine energy is just purely by the nature of it, it's made the male collective feel very insecure about themselves because they don't want to be prancing around like women, right? That's just basically how it's been, right, over the last 2,000 years. Now that it's switching around, or it has switched around, and now we're getting used to that, the males are now very comfortable within their masculine energy, that they don't feel the need to fight and brawl each other all the time, and they don't feel the need to kick their women down, because they're starting to just feel very settled and calm in their male and divine masculine role as a leader. They don't need to assert themselves in the way that they did because there's no insecurity anymore. Does that make sense? When you see nature programs and you watch a male lion presiding over his Serengeti kingdom and presiding over his females, over his what are they called? Lionesses. Over his lionesses, right? Over his queens. He has multiple. He doesn't do it by marching around all macho, smacking his women, and you know, if you watch him, he is laying lazily in the middle of it all, and the women are the ones that are doing all the fighting. Have you noticed that? Right? So this is basically the energy that we're now moving into. The masculine, the lion, you know, and the reason I use this as an example is because we are so thick and heavy into Leo energy right now, that it's just so relevant that this is the energy that we're taking on. The feminines are still trying to figure out the pecking order amongst the other queens, and hopefully now this is going to die down a little bit, because we're seeing that the feminine's actually not being a crazy person anymore, and she's now just completely wholeheartedly surrendering to the masculine being in charge and to her own masculine being in charge within herself, right? She's now rebalanced. So let's move on. I know we've spent a long time just talking about heart space, but it's been necessary. The channel has been a strong one today. So let's move on. So the divine masculine mental space. Let's see what's going on in the divine masculine's mental space. Okay, so we have water. So this is a, not to confuse the matters even further, but this is emotions, right? Water is representative of emotions and divine feminine energy. So we have lesson. Okay, so he's thinking about the things that he's learned and figuring out how he can apply this stuff practically to his everyday. Let's see what else we have here. Let's tap into moonology. Okay, so we have waning moon. What do you need to release? This is how he's wanting to apply his lessons. Is into this, you know, what do I need to release, purge sort of energy. So you know, again, this is thought rather than feeling. So he's thinking about what else does he need to do? Where's the loose ends? Because we've been seeing him purging, as I said at the very beginning of this reading. The masculines have been purging. So he feels somewhere that he's not quite done, or he's just making sure that he is done before he moves on to other things. And he's learned how to purge very meticulously and accurately. So he's wanting to continue that streak because it's been very useful to him. It's worked very, very well. So he's just sort of diligently looking at, consciously, you know, looking at his life and seeing what else needs to be done. Let's see what else we've got. Yes, this is a good one. Okay. What else do we have? What else is the masculine thinking about? What's he conscious of? Thank you. Okay, yeah, so we've got the Keeper of the Scales, fairness and balance. This is the Libra card, so balance. But also Libra is very compassionate. So we have Libra is also very romantic, but I don't feel like that is particularly relevant right now. For not in this context anyway. Loving and compassionate, yes. Romantic, no. So yeah, the masculine is really looking at his life. Oh, sorry. Let's move that. Let's move this down a bit. Let's try and fit everything in. My camera's at a weird angle. It was the only way I could get it to work for us today, but now I'm seeing how it's messing with the cards. Never mind. Yeah, so the masculine's really looking at his life and figuring out. He's very aware, right? I feel like he's very acutely aware of establishing and maintaining balance, which is wonderful, because it's the only way really to establish balance is to be aware of it, right? It's very difficult to align your chakras and to balance your masculine and feminine energies and to balance your life and to set up good routines and healthy boundaries and all the rest of it when you're just sort of letting things unfold as they will. You need to direct it consciously into one way or another. And this is very much what the masculine is doing. So we can see the masculine really has his shit together, right? He's so got his shit together that he's actually considering, or certainly within his heart space, he's now more open to other people coming in and him sharing himself again, but doing it in a very healthy way. He's very aware of that. So let's be clear, right? He's not looking for a relationship. He's not thinking really about a relationship, but his heart is open to it. So should the right energy present itself to him, he'd be like, yeah, okay, cool. I'll go along with this and see what happens. So feminines, please don't take this as an opportunity to go and jump on your twin and be like, oh, cool, you're ready to get into union with me now. No, he isn't, right? He's just, his heart is just cracking open a little bit to not just keeping all of this, energy to himself, but to perhaps sharing it with someone, but with the right energy. He needs to be approached in the right way. I did say that earlier, but I'll say it again. He needs to be approached in the right way. His boundaries are very much like, and you want that, ladies, you want his boundaries to be the way that they are right now, because if you approach him with the wrong energy and he lets you in, you'll ruin him. is that simple. And you want him to be in the right state, and you want yourself to be in the right state. Now, I'm only saying that because I can feel the energy off of some of you right now that are like, oh, cool, right now I can have union with my masculine, and oh my God, let's go, and I'm going to pick out a wedding dress. And, and it's like already starting to kind of snowball a bit. No, ladies. Stay on track, okay? Stay on track with yourself. To be honest, I feel like perhaps your twin isn't going to be ready. I mean, you're not ready, right? If you're not ready, then he's not ready. So because he is your divine mirror, so he's probably going to get into a karmic, which really will be his way of, he's going to practice, right? He's going to practice with someone before he's ready for you. And equally, the feminines are going to get into a karmic with a so you're going to get into a relationship with a masculine who's not your twin, because you're practicing too, right? We're all practicing so that we're ready for each other. So just keep that in mind, right? Keep that in mind when you're like choosing a partner or whatever. Like, just go with the flow, just relax. Someone comes your way and you get on with them, and the energy, and the mood is right. Just go with it, right? Just flow with it. If it feels right, then go with it. If it doesn't feel right, tell them to get to step in and get, stay open for somebody else, right? Just stay open. Okay, so let's see what the feminines are doing in their mental space. Hoop, 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 hoop. Cards flying all over the place. Okay, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so we've got two water cards going on here, right? So we're seeing alignment, which is good. We've got surrender. Okay, beautiful. So the feminines are surrendering within their mental space. They're surrendering to how they feel. Beautiful. We also have a fire card here, Kundalini. So the feminines, if you're interested in finding out about Kundalini energy, come and join my OnlyFans. The link is not in the description below for obvious reasons. Go and join the Discord, which the link is in the description below, and you'll find the link to OnlyFans there in the Discord. Just saying, but hashtag no porn, right? There's no porn on my OnlyFans whatsoever. It's just a safe space, right, for us to discuss things of a sexual nature in a very matter-of-fact, witchy-woo spiritual way. We talk about having a healthy sex life and all that good stuff. But we also talk about Kundalini energy, which is expressing your sacred sexual energy in a way that works for you, in a way that manifests for you within the physical reality, in a way that boosts your confidence beautifully. So, we can't really discuss that anywhere else in such a candid way because it conflicts with all sorts of TOS. I would love to discuss it with you here on YouTube, but unfortunately, YouTube won't like that very much. So, it's a space on OnlyFans where the TOS is in full support of us, doing what we want to do over there and how we want to do it. So come join it. We discuss Kundalini. We, like I said, we discuss all this other good stuff, and we have live streams and things over there as well. Very body positive content, where we figure out what it is to be human, and we explore our sexuality and our sacred sexual energy. Sacred sexual energy. So, if you want more information on Kundalini, come and join me over there. Otherwise, I'm just going to skirt it, right, in honor of respecting the TOS here on YouTube. So the divine feminines are thinking in a very sexual way. But it's in a Kundalini way, so it's not in like a pornographic way. The feminine's mental space is very much, she's very conscious of using this mysterious kind of femininity to her advantage. That's not in a manipulative way, not at all. Although there are going to be some women that are going to use it in that way. But I would very confidently say that the women who are using it in a manipulative way are not aware of the spiritual journey that they are on. So they are not, I'm going to use the word awake, to themselves, to reality as it is. Those girls are not aware of really the damage that they're causing. So if you do come across a girl who is using her feminine wiles like against you because she wants something that's for her own selfish gain, fucking stay clear of that, okay? Stay well clear of that. She's not on the, she's on the journey. She doesn't realise she's on the journey, and that's kind of dangerous. So let her figure it out for herself. Away from you, right? So the feminines who are watching this right now, right, and you've got this in your mental space, it's not in a manipulative way that the feminine is using this energy. It's more she's using it to her advantage in a way that doesn't harm anyone, right, which is perfectly sound. It's fine to use what you have at your disposal to your advantage, as long as it's not stepping all over other people and it's not harming other people or upsetting other people, and it's not upsetting yourself, and causing any kind of harm or damage. Then go for it. So the feminine is definitely using, this energy to her advantage. You go, girl, right? You go, you independent businesswoman, you. I feel that that's very, very healthy. So, let's see what else. Ow. Shot out and sliced my toe. All right, so we have expect powerful change, new moon eclipse. So yeah, the feminine is definitely waking up to something very, very valuable here. It's going to be different for every individual feminine, so I'm not going to speculate as to how, but she's thinking about it, right? She's thinking about how she can use this to her advantage. We also have the Swan Queen, so we have a queen, beautiful, transformation, intuition, and patience, wonderful. So we can see how the feminine is... it's all new beginnings across the board, isn't it, right? We've got new beginnings, this unfoldment. She's really stepping into her divine feminine energy of just being very sultry and seductive and feminine, right? She's very, very feminine. And that's giving way then. This is how she feels. So this is giving way to how she's thinking. She's thinking like a queen. She's transforming. There's powerful change. She's becoming a swan, a beautiful swan. And we're also, the feminines are also being shown here in this reading to be patient, okay? A duckling doesn't become, or a cygnet doesn't become a swan overnight. It actually takes a whole year. For a cygnet to become a swan, specifically. For you to become a swan, my dear, I don't know. Right? It could take a year, it could take 5 years, it could take today, right? But generally speaking, it's going to take some time, okay? So be patient. Be patient with yourself. Be patient as you find your niche, and as you find that thing that's going to really work for you in the way that you want it to work for you, right? That depends on what your desire is. But it's all very powerful change. But don't forget, we're also seeing the surrender here as well. So the feminine within her mental space, she's kind of surrendering to how she's feeling, which is beautiful because it's taking her somewhere. It's transforming her. So we'll come back to that in a moment, right, when we have a look at physical space, because it's already going to have been taking a turn in the physical reality for her, I'm sure of it. So we'll come back to that in a moment. Let's see what's going on for the divine masculine within his physical space. What's going on for the masculine within his physical space? Okay, beautiful, right? We have two which seem conflicting ideologies here, but they are not, and I'll explain why. We have chalice fulfillment, and we have I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm sorry to all the Wiccans out there. I do not know how to pronounce. I know it's the it's like the autumn holiday. It's like the Halloween holiday. I do not know how to pronounce that. It's not Samhain, as I found out the hard way. Death. Okay, we have the death card. So we have fulfillment. We have death. Right. So death is change. I'm sure many of you know this already, but we have change, right? And fulfillment. I feel like these should actually be this way around. So the masculine within his physical space, he is experiencing clean-cut change. You know, where there's death change, it's not gradual. It's like, bang, it's changed, right? So the masculine is experiencing this end. It's an end. Thank you. It's endings, right? The old way of like how he conducted himself and how he lived and how his life looked. It's done. It is donezo. It's ended. It's gone. It's done. Line drawn under it. And now he's moving into a state of fulfillment. Because the old ways that are no longer serving and were no longer serving, they're done. They're gone. So let's see what else we've got here for the masculine within his physical space. I feel like there's really not much going on, to be honest. Okay, interesting, right? So we have empathic starseed, energetic sovereignty, absorbing what's not yours. It's interesting that the word sovereignty is in there because we were talking about regality a minute ago, weren't we, with the king and the queen, the lion, the king. So energetic sovereignty, so absolutely we're talking about energetically being a king or being a queen. And absorbing what's not yours. Within the physical realm, things move slower than they do in the energetic realm. It's just the frequency that it's running at. You know, it's like a computer. It's going to run at a certain frequency. You can't change that. It's just how it's built. So there's still things lingering, which the masculine is aware of, right? What do you need to release? He's aware of rebalancing things and using the things that he's learned to his advantage, which I've just realised actually is a mirror, because he's using what he's learned to his advantage, and the feminine is using what she is and what she's feeling to her advantage. So they're both doing the same thing, they're just doing it in a different way. It's a mirror, it's a reflection. So we're seeing that the masculines and feminines are in alignment, which is great news. That's what we want to see, because when we see that the masculine and feminine collectives are in alignment, that means union is possible at some point down the line. So the masculine, yeah, right, he's aware, right, there's something lingering and he's aware of it, because we're seeing here that he's absorbing his empathy is very much out and about and active, right? Excuse me. It's very active. We've seen this in the heart space, right? He's extending excuse me, that love outside of himself. It's in the form of compassion, yes, empathy, compassion, yes, romance too, but there's something going on. There's someone, I feel, in his or has just shown up in his physical space that's asking him for something, asking him for his empathy, his help, his compassion. You know, please can you help me? Please can you do this for me? You know, and he's feeling a bit sorry for this person. I feel like it's a feminine. He's feeling bad for her, and he's sticking his neck out to help her, but he knows that he shouldn't be. He should be releasing her. Maybe it's an ex. I feel like an ex maybe is showing up and just being like, oh, please love me. And he's it's a feminine that's not on the, or again, she's on the journey but she's not aware, right? She's a sleeper, perhaps. I don't know. I might be digging into something very, very specific here. But then again, maybe the reason I've channeled that is because there's someone here that needs to hear that. So, you know, I try not to question why and how information floods out of me, because then it starts to not make sense. To me, anyway, starts to not make sense to me. And then I start withholding things because it doesn't make sense to me. And that's not how to be a good channeler, right? So I hope that makes sense on some level to someone, and then my work here is done. So let's have a look then at the Divine Feminine. What's the Divine Feminine up to within her physical space? I'm sure, I mean, I just realised I sort of skirted that a little bit, masculines, but the reason I did so is because you already know the answer, right? Don't don't okay, absorbing what's not yours. Okay, so just don't, right? I think that's it. Enough said there. Yes. So Divine Feminines within your physical space, my lovelies. What's going on for you? Okay, so we have mirror, shadow. So yeah, feminines are the exact same, right? Which we're seeing, there's a dual meaning here, right? So there's the mirror, that the feminines are mirroring their masculine. There's still loose ends to be tied up within the physical space, but we're also seeing shadow, which again is loose ends to be tied up within the physical space. There's still some shadow work to get through. The feminine is, the Divine Feminine on the whole is in a very beautiful space within herself. Outside of herself, not so much. There's loose ends. There's the repercussions of shadow. It's not actually shadow work. It's the reflection of shadow. Shadow goes on the inside, not on the outside, but there's always the repercussions of. So when the feminine is carrying around shadow and not working through it, it spills into her physical life. So there's something lingering and hanging around that's not serving, that's also not in alignment, right? Because there's all this change and new beginnings and things going on, and yet there's some stuff lingering from like the before time, from the old life. Same things going on with the masculine as it is with the feminine. They're so in alignment with one another. Let's see what else we've got here for the feminine within physical space. So I mean, I don't need to tell you, feminines, right, that you need to get rid of it. It's not serving anymore, right? So stop it from hanging around. Cut the ties. Ooh, hello. Okay, how fucking interesting is that? We've got fall into my arms, surrender. Okay, so we had surrender here. So surrender, holding the opposites, extremes of life, holding the opposites, right? Mirror. It's all just the same stuff over and over, right? Because I feel like the message is there, just so loud and clear, right? And spirit really needs us to listen. So surrender, okay, surrender to the reality, right? It's almost like spirit saying, in your physical reality, look in the mirror, okay? See what's up and fucking fix it, right? It's not serving anymore. So get it done. So I think we'll end that there. This has been an especially long reading today, an hour and 10 minutes. We normally finish up around half an hour, 45 minutes. So I will love and leave you. I really hope that this reading serves you well and, makes sense to you, serves you well in the days to come. We will be back to it next Tuesday for another Twin Flame Tuesday. So have a wonderful week. We do have a full moon coming up this weekend, so look out for the reading for that towards the, well, if you're a member of the Cosmic Clan, then you get to view all of my, then you can view all of my YouTube content 24 hours before it goes public, as long as other perks. Come and join Patreon, link is in the description below if you want to become a Cosmic Clan member. And come and join the Discord as well. Just you know, go click happy on all the links down below, because there's some very weird and wonderful stuff going on down there. And YouTube isn't the only place that that you'll find me. You know, I spit out all kinds of content in all kinds of places. So go trigger happy on all of the links down below. And especially come and join Discord, because that is the central hub for our community. And you know, come and meet people that are just like you. You know, looking for answers, looking to be the best version of yourself. I'm so proud of the community and in the Discord and how everyone supports each other. It's really beautiful to watch. You know, people meeting each other, supporting each other, having a laugh with each other, playing games with each other, talking spiritual and deep with each other. You know, it all goes on in the Discord. There's voice calls like constantly going on, so don't be shy. Come and hop in and introduce yourself. Say, hey, you know, I came from YouTube. I'm a YouTuber. I'm a YouTubee. Everyone's welcome. Come join us. One of us. So yes, have a wonderful week. Look out for the full moon in whatever it is. I can't remember off the top of my head. Oh, it's Aquarius, isn't it? Is it Aquarius? There were two of them back to back. 2 full moons in Aquarius, I believe. Don't quote me on it. I can't remember without looking at my calendar. But that reading will be out at the towards the end of the week. So look out for that. And I will shut the hell up now and let you get on with your day. Have a wonderful rest of your week. And remember that you are loved. And you are valued. And you are worthy. And you are beautiful. And I will see you guys in the next one.